Thanks for being here everyone, it's LOZA, and we're looking at Chronicle Magician, or rather we're revisiting Chronicle Magician today, because guess what, Dark Magician of Destruction may have breathed a bit of new life into this card. I've been working on my Dark Magician tier list video, and to say the least, it's going well, it's nearly done, editing 2 hours sucks, but we're getting there. Please make sure you check that out when I finally do upload it. But in the process of reviewing that content, I've realized there's a bunch of cards that we can maybe revisit now that Dark Magician of Destruction is a card that's staying in our decks. So as most of you know, the going second potential in Dark Magician is a lot better now thanks to Gaze of Timaeus. That's really awesome. Today we're going to be looking at another way we can get to Gaze in the battle phase, but also Chronicle Magician. You will need to open a 1-card way to Illusion of Chaos or Magician Souls. And obviously, if you open Illusion of Chaos or Magician Souls, you could just use them, but you do need to use a spell beforehand. So that is why that important prep was there. But obviously, you could do this combo with literally any spell as long as you open Magician Souls or Illusion of Chaos. We need to summon Dark Magician because then we're able to trigger the Chronicle Magician. Oh, after this animation, that is. We're going to trigger the Chronicle Magician, and he's going to summon. I always was very angry that Chronicle summon in defense, but it does give that 5k boost to Dark Magician. I was like, why did they make it summon in defense? Like, did they think it was going to be too strong? Like, they're crazy, right? Well, I guess now it's kind of okay because you can just go ahead and banish Chronicle, turning him into Dark Magician of Destruction, meaning you can go get secrets, you can go get Soul Servant, right? We haven't normal summoned yet, so I'm 99% sure getting like Magician's Rod is a really good target here, so we'll go and do that ourselves. But you can see on the board, we've already got close to lethal. We are 200 damage off lethal. Now with Rod on board, we have lethal into an open board, but we can also get Gaze of Timaeus as well. So I just think that's really crazy. So yeah, you just rev up the battle phase at this point. Swing in my big 5k Dark Magician because that's really cool. Swing in D-Mod. You'd swing in Rod naturally for an extra bit of damage, and you can Gaze of Timaeus now. I don't know if it matters too much who you get rid of. Typically you'd summon Master of Chaos, but without anything big in the grave to summon, you can just go in Dragoon or Magi Dragon and, you know, smack your opponent for another bunch of damage. Like, there's just an endless amount of damage with the Dark Magician cards now, thanks to Gaze and going second. And while I don't necessarily think Chronicle Magician is a good card for the deck, it is interesting that we could have that as a line of play, going second into, you know, maybe a weaker board that you've hand-trapped to a point where you can now OTK them. Or if you just simply are playing like maybe a rank 7 build and you have a copy of Chronicle in your deck. We're going to take a look at the other Chronicle card, and this time it's Chronicle Sorceress. Yes, this card we've pretty much established should have been a Link 1. Based on the effect, it would have been the perfect crossover Dark Magician Blue Eyes card, simply because it says activate one of these effects based on the attributes in grave, meaning if you normal this, like you normally start your turn with a normal, so like you won't have anything in grave. But anyway, light, if you have a light, you can send a Blue Eyes or a card that mentions it from deck to grave. That's very generic. And if you have a dark, you can send a Dark Magician or a card that mentions it from deck to grave. So of course this could set things up like Magician's Navigation, or I don't know what it could set up in Blue Eyes, but the fact that it's kind of really generic is nice. It's just you have to normal summon this. And as we know in Blue Eyes, Sage and Beryl are very important normal summons. In Dark Magician, Beryl and Rod are way more important normal summons, I would say. So this card kind of didn't have a position in either deck until sort of now. So we've also got Miasma Necromancer, which we've shown off a lot of combos with, looping the Shining Sark Dark Magician Girl back to hand and being able to summon her because of the great name change she has. That's a great thing. But Miasma can also give you an additional normal of the spellcaster, meaning the Chronicle Sorceress can be your second normal summon because Magician's Rod is only once per turn. So you could have 2 rods, but normalling the second gets you no search. Now bear with me here because it's very hard to find a Chronicle Sorceress interaction that's useful. I would say you only would use her when you've opened Gaze, which I know sounds silly, but Gaze is just such a solid game plan that going for anything else just seems silly. So you have to either already have Gaze or already have Chronicle Sorceress, and this is what you would go for. Shining Sark DMG discards a card that's not Gaze, and she goes and searches the Shining Sark. What's really cracked about having Gaze in hand too is it's a pseudo call by the grave. If you get Impermanent or Veiled on the girl, you can just chain the gaze and fuse into Magi Dragon or Dark Magician Girl the Dragonite or Dark Magicians and just dodge that Imperm Veiler, resolve the search, and then you get your Shining Sark still. It's kind of insane, especially if you go into Dark Magicians, because then you can go Shining Sark and get an actual draw after you search with Shining Sark. Kind of crazy value there. We're not going to do that route if our opponent didn't hand trap us, just to show off the combo properly. So Shining Sark can now grab you the DMG. Sorry, we did the Dark Magician. We've already got the DMG. We're going to summon him out, and we're going to be able to fuse him away because Shining Sark's a spell. So we've used the spell. Let's go. And we're going to get Demod, and Demod is going to let us get whatever we like. And obviously, we have Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl on the field. So, hey, I'm going to go get Magician's Rod because we haven't normal summoned yet. So, normal summon that Magician's Rod, and that's going to get you the Soul Servant because this card is insane. While we have a DM and DMG on the field and on grave. So now this is where you would get your gaze. Because we've already got it, this is where we can branch out and get Chronicle Sorceress. Because we'll also get a random extra draw here. Pretty cool. Drew Magician Souls. We're going to ignore that card though, pretend it's not there. We can see we can't normal, but if we go into Miasma, then we will be able to normal. So if we go into Miasma and we just give up our Shining Sark on the field. Oh yeah, we're also going to be able to add the girl back. So we do get to go pretty plus in the hand, which is nice. But we're now going to get rid of our Shining Sark on field to summon the Chronicle Sorceress. Use her effect to now dump a Dark Magician card. So I've opted for the Navigation because I don't think there's a better target besides Soul Servant, which you're going to use a lot of the time in your combos. So dumping Navi in the grave means we've got a Spell Trap negate on the opponent's turn just by controlling Dark Magician. So having this man right here does count as Dark Magician. So now it's just a little bit awkward as to what you want to do. I would figure like something like Selene would be good, but we haven't hit the spell count threshold. Borreload Savage, sorry not Savage, Borreload Topologic Bomber Dragon could be a really nice tech here too. But honestly, I'm really not sure what to do because obviously you need to keep the DM on the field for this Navi to be live, and you need to... So yeah, Chronicle Sorceress can be cool for setting up Navi, but I'm just not sure what to do with the rest of this. Maybe you guys could figure something out, but as far as I can tell, you just save the DMG for follow-up, and this will be a random draw. And on the opponent's turn, you've just got your Spell Trap negate, and you're also going to be able to summon a Dragoon with Gaze, so that's really cool. The weird thing is, you're not going to be able to go for your Dragoon until your opponent does a Spell Trap related thing. The last thing I wanted to show off, not to do with the Chronicle cards, but just a lot of people have been saying like all the new supports other decks more than DM, which I do agree with to some degree. But I just want to show off, you know, this stuff still really buffs pure DM, so all my pure DM enjoyers, please get hype. Like, I'm going to show you double Dragoon combo right now. So Rotten Souls, typical Dark Magician opener, is able to just go and extend out the wazoo. So Rod is going to grab Soul Servant after Soul Summon Dark Magician. You just need that Soul Servant to just go ahead and get yourself Gaze. The most important thing you've done here is use a spell, right? That's what we need to do. It's the aim of the game. But from here, what's cool is, you know, we've used a spell, so we can go to Demod. Demod will now let us go and get another copy of Gaze or a card like Secrets of Dark Magic. So I just think that's so crazy. I'm going to grab Secrets, but you can also get another copy of Gaze if you have a way to another name of DM. And we're kind of going to manipulate that right now. So we're going to go into our friend from the Blue Eyes realm. Shoutouts to Blue Eyes for giving us this link one. We're going to go into Mausoleum. And Mausoleum is just going to be able to put another vanilla in our grave, which is really good for Gaze of Timaeus as well. And yeah, now we can pretty much just go for Secrets. You can make a Magi Dragon with these guys. And that means you've got this Towers Monsters for the opponent's turn. And then on the opponent's turn, you can also go ahead and flip up your Gaze of Timaeus as soon as the game would let me. Yep, as soon as the game will let me. Flip up that Gaze of Timaeus. We'll shuffle back the Dark Magician of Destruction. And we can just summon out Mr. Dragoon. Rod effect, we're not going to use that, but here we are. Chilling. So Rotten Souls can get you to two big fusions now. One of them are big towers and a spell trap pop. One of them Dragoon negate. So pretty damn nice if I do say so myself. Alright, back with Rotten Souls to show you the double Dragoon combo now. I do like this combo, but I don't like a card it forces you to play. Because, as you know, Gaze of Timaeus is just so good. So I hate what you have to do to make this one work. But, I mean, the last combo was still very respectable. Maybe even questionably better. But, anyway. Gaze of Timaeus is going to be the card we need here. Because it is a spell, and it means we can dodge a hand trap now on Dark Magician of Destruction. If your opponent does go for a hand trap here on Dark Magician of Destruction, if it's Imperm or Vela, you can now dodge it. If it's Ash, there's nothing you can do about that, so just call it quits and cry in the club with me. Alright, Monster Timaeus is what we're adding off D-Mod here. It does feel a bit weird, but it is just how it has to be. You're going to be able to make Dragoon now with Timaeus and the D-Mod, and obviously we've still got Gaze, so oh, I forgot to set it, but I think you get the idea. On the opponent's turn, you would set the Gaze and shuffle back the D-Mod and summon out yourself a second copy of Dragoon, which I have failed to do, but I think you get the picture, right? So yeah, long story short, Dragoon's still very good. Gaze is still a sensational piece of support. And while it was fun to dabble with the Chronicle cards again, I still think they're pretty much unplayable. But hey, if I missed any combos, please drop them down in the comments section. I do read all of it. And we will try to make a new video with your combos in there. Until next time, I do have that Dark Magician tier list video coming. Please be patient for that. It's taken a long time. But thank you for your support. We're nearly at 9k subs, absolutely huge. So if you can help me out by hitting the sub, you're a legend. Otherwise, I just like that you watch my videos and maybe smack the like button on them, because that helps me out and it helps against the YouTube algorithm. Anyways, thanks for helping me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.